How do you improve the mind-muscle connection?
That's a great question. I mean, it's really important that you do have that mind-muscle connection with a movement.
What is that?
And that is when you're doing a movement, you should know exactly what muscle you're training, and you should feel it actively. Oh. And the better you can feel that, the more effectively you're going to be able to train it. And so it's hard for a lot of people who are beginning because maybe they don't know how to like properly execute the movement, and that's going to affect your ability to feel it while you're working it. But there are some practical things that you can do to strengthen that mind-muscle connection. I think the biggest one is like just visualizing if it's a muscle you can see while you're working it, like staring at the muscle and really like focus in and think about the muscle that you're using. And again, like I said, if you don't know which one you're training, you got to figure out which muscle or muscle group that movement is targeting. So you can know to sort of train your brain to connect with it. Another thing you can do is slow down the movements. So if I have a client who's like, I have no mind-muscle connection with this movement, what I'll have them do is like strip the weight. So go pretty light on the weight, focus on your form, and go really slow and controlled. Focus on time under tension and go higher reps. Maybe not for the full working set, but at least the first set. That's going to help strengthen that mind-muscle connection because the lighter it is, the most likely the better form you'll have. And if you go higher with the reps, just going slow and controlled, really thinking about using the muscle, you're going to develop a better connection with it. And if not, you're going to flood that muscle with blood, which will in return like help you feel it more. And then one thing I focus on doing is like really feeling the stretch of that muscle on the eccentric. The eccentric is like the part of the movement where you're like returning the weight down, or it's the negative of a movement. If you really focus on getting a stretch on your muscle at that point, that could also help you. Some things that may be less effective, but I think could still work, are like if you have noise canceling headphones, making sure that you have that on, that you're hyper focused, you have no distractions, and that's going to help you get in the zone and better have that mind-muscle connection, just because you're focused. Sometimes I'll even just pause my music and have noise canceling on and just do a movement, and I really connect with the muscle that way.
You really connect with
Yeah.
your muscles?
Me and my muscles are
And just in absolute silence.
connected.
Yeah.
In silence. And then the mirror technique, which is, I mean, basically what I said to begin with. If you stare down your muscle while you're working it, chances are you're gonna feel it more effectively. So if you haven't done that, you got to do that as an exercise. Just try it and see if that helps you. But the reason there's all these mirrors in the gym isn't so you can
Looks so good.
pose in front of it. It's so you can see what you're doing and if you're doing the movement properly.
Yeah.
So people staring at themselves in the mirror doesn't mean they're staring at themselves. It means maybe they are. I mean, they could be. Yeah, sure, they could be. And if they're posing, they definitely are, which is fine. You can pose, especially at a bodybuilding gym like that.
Well, they got a whole room for it.
They have a whole posing room for it.
Yeah. So go in there.
So you go in there and pose. But yeah, you look in the mirror. You know, if it's a movement where you can't see yourself without a mirror doing it, then look in the mirror, see yourself perform the movement, focus on that muscle group, stare it down in the mirror. In the other dimension. Wow. Stare it down and I guarantee you'll feel that mind-muscle connection. But it's really important. It is. Because the better you feel that muscle working, like I said, the more effectively chances are you're going to train it. So